Hey folks, welcome. Let's do some CSS battles from the past. These are on CSSBattle.dev. This is the 19th, 20th, and 21st. Some really interesting shapes here in January 2024. Let's go ahead and get started. And there's a lot going on here, and we're just going to dive right in rather than overthink it. Let's make this first part, which as a rounded rectangle is pretty clearly something that needs to be an element and not be a background. You can do multiple radial gradients and a linear gradient constrained with background position, but it's just it's a lot simpler to do it one thing at a time. So let's make the margin a variable, and we'll center it, and then let's make the height var a variable as well, because I think we're going to use other elements. And we'll optimize that if we need to. Width is 50, also var -- w or 50. Okay, so that's our first thing. So let's move that into position by setting a top margin here, which is this right now is 20, 60, 70, 70, done. And then we change our height to, is it 10? No, it's 20. And then let's make the width 100, and then set a border radius. And actually border radius, we will make a variable as well, var -- r of, what is it, default of 10 pixels, let's say. So that is correct. How about 5 pixels? How about 10? How about a Q unit? 20Q. It's a little, we do 50, like it just maxes out. So we might reuse that. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out real quick. All right, next. So let's make the next part of this. Okay, so there's our other element. So what do we need to do to, let's do things in the background next. Okay, here we go. Let's see. We can do P plus P. So the second P element has a height of 200, let's say. There it is. And then let's give it a width. Again, our goal is to do as little code as possible. So anything we can reuse, we would like to reuse. So let's set the margins to make this go up. -- m is -100, auto, let's say. And we've already got the radial gradient. Let's make it a little less tall, huh? How about 100? Too short. So the question is, do we want to, here's the trick. If we do a linear gradient as the common background, and we go to top, which is a lot of characters, we can use the same background for the first and the second element. And that might be good. So right now, we're not seeing that. Oh, because these are both the same value. So let's do that. Okay. So the height is wrong. And then how about a transparent at the end? That's the idea. Let's make it taller. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 60. Let's see, how's that? 70. 170. Okay. So in this way, we can set 20%, and then set a color stop there. How about 30%? 29%. Okay, and then 70%, and then another color stop. And in that way, we use the same background for all of our elements. All right, so, oh, and we don't want percentages because that's no good. How about 40 pixels? 40 pixels. And now we're seeing a little bit more of what we like there. How about 80? 1, 82, 83, 82. It's not too bad. How about 50 pixels here? 50. All right. And if we just keep that logic going, we can create more elements. So we have the same background on all the elements, and that will work for these little small guys too. So let's make another one. And so we're seeing that it's got the margin. So, and let's go ahead and put a B and a C, and then force this to be B. So C, what is C? If we set a margin and a height, or a height and a width, so height of 10, is it taller? 20, and then width of 20, and a margin of minus. We kind of see it there. So we want minus 100, 0. Okay. So using margins, we're making this go wherever we want it to. Minus 110, and then another number, 180, 160, 158, 159, 60, 61, 62. All right, weird numbers, but we'll take it. And then let's make a final one. Now we don't know if this is going to match. We've got some edges here that might be a little problematic, but we're hopeful. Okay, so here's D. D is going to also have height and width. Height and width. We'll call that 10, width of 10, and a margin of, oh, there it is. It's way up there. How about 100? 100 down, 120 over, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and then more of a top margin, too low, 118, 119, 120, and then 1, 2. All right, let's see if that's a match. Strictly speaking, because we're setting the margins, we don't need to do this auto that we're doing. Well, that's 99.9%, so that is not a match. All right, so what's missing? What can we change? So if it's 70 auto and the width is 100, then 100 will do that. Oh, that's no good. So we just ruined everything. But let's see if we can save it. 1, 20, 30, 40, 50, 40, 42. Okay. And then this one, rather than, so we're not going to set widths on anything. We're just going to let them be what they want to be. Unsetting the widths, unsetting the widths, and unsetting the widths. So one at a time. Let's do width of, or margin, 50, 100, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And is that 2? Okay. And then that's what we got after that. I guess in theory we could do a radial gradient. Do we want to do that? That's kind of interesting. No, that's a terrible idea. All right, so I think we're in the right place. So if we increase the margins, so we got rid of those. So if we just if we constrain the margins of C and D, so we had 0, 0, and let's do 0, 0, and that's what we get. Okay, so let's do the first one first. So by setting this second number, constrain that 4, 5, 7, 8, 200. And is that it? Almost 202. And then by setting this one, and we need more negative of different number. 1 minus 1, 2. Oh no. How much is 0? How about 10? Okay, and then increase this number. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 2. All right, so what are the non-trustworthy numbers? I think it's this one. Let's try that. Also, our Q unit is probably problematic, and I don't like that. That's 100% match. So crazy code, 4 paragraph tags equals this science beaker. We'll submit that and see how our score is. Very curious to see if we get a better score than what I got in the past with this one. And I did, so that's great. Love it. It's a fun set of shapes, all constrained. No widths are set, only using the fact that a paragraph is a block element and will expand to fit whatever margins are available to it. And in this case, it's margins that are set on the element itself, not on the body. Because we don't have any, we actually have no margins on the body. And the reason some of these end in 2 is because we're letting the body's natural, such as they are, margins just be there, and that's fine. Okay, next. I guess we just do the same thing, huh? With this guy. So let's put this color on the background, and then do this first one. And the default is, so I guess the first one is really the odd one, so we'll put an A on it. So A gets a color, B background, B for background, color of that. And then any subsequent ones, we're going to default to this pink color, because that's what, there's 3 of those, and we'll just see what we need to do there. Bar, so it's -- B, or that color. Is that right? Yes, that is correct. So yes, we're defaulting, we don't have any. If I make another one, then you'll see, yeah, there it is. Okay, but we're not doing that yet. All right, let's get the order, or let's get our margins into place. And I think, again, no margins on the body. Margin will be a variable, var --m, or 60 auto, because that's a nice, or 60 100. Yeah, I like that. 60 70. Great. 110. 120. Too much. 115. 117. There it is. Height of 1, 4, 5, 6. All right, now border radius. That is clearly what we want to do here. And we'll make that a variable as well. Var r or 50 pixels. 60. 70. 80. I guess it's got to be 80. Okay, so 80, and it's going to be 80, 80, and then some number, 10 pixels. So we got to get the bottom corners. We want those to match perfectly. How about 20, 25, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Is it 21 pixels? A goofy number, but that seems to be what it is. All right, so that's that. Now, what do we want next? So is that orange a single color? Is there a way to do this using inset border shadows? I don't think so. I don't think so. So let's see about that. Or can we do, so is this 1, 2, 3 elements, or is it one with a complex background and then 2 elements, a second element to cover it? So a repeating linear gradient. Let's find out. Again, is there a way to share these backgrounds? And I don't think there really is. Because we're going to need to do something to set these. All right, so second element, B. Let's find out. So PA and then PB. B is, we don't see it, so M we need to set to -100 or something, and there it is. Okay, so let's move it, and then our height needs to be set, and that's like some small number. And we don't see it yet. How come? Oh, because height is not a variable. Var --h, comma, or 160. There it is. Great. Itself an interesting shape, but not what we're trying to do. How about 120, 30, 40, 50, 55, and then the height is 40, 50, and then let's constrain this even more, 140, and then our border radius is a problem. So var --r, 10 pixels. Okay, that's what we've got now. 2 wide, so we need more margin, 5, 2, and then that radius, about 20. No, how about 5 pixels? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 looks good. So this is where it gets interesting. Do we want to do, so is that our next one, or do we want that to be more wide? Let's make it cover. Let's see if we can do this. I'm really curious to see if we can do this. Or do we want to create overlapping elements? Okay, so that's the size. Where the question is, where do we want to put it? Okay, so let's, if we decrease, a little lost. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and go outside in. So let's make this wider. There it is. And then do a background, so var B, we'll do a ridiculous color like yellow. There it is. And let's create another one and see if this helps us a little bit. C. How about BC? Okay, so that's so that's goofy. All right, so for C, we want to override yet again that margin. M needs to be 0 or 100, 150. And then we need to override the color. So dash B is this color. What does that get us? Okay, 30, 40. Okay, getting there. So we're too far up, so make that 95. 95 rather. Is that right? How about 90? Or wait, am I going the wrong direction? 100? 105? There it is. Oh, and this is 52. All right, now. So we've got that background. So now if we do a linear gradient at 90 degrees from to transparent to also an interesting effect. You could do some illustrations or interesting stuff with that. So let's make that like, I guess it's 10 pixels or something. 0, 100 pixels, 0. How about 150, 60, 70? Oh, okay, 165. And that makes this, what, 15? And is that a match? Let's take a look. So that's 3 paragraph tags. First, big one. The second one is long and has a weird background. And then the third is over top to cover it. It would be fun to, I guess in theory you could do background shadows. You could do an inset shadow here, but I think that's a different radius. It's effectively a different radius, and it's not going to work. But inset shadows on this could make this shape similar to this, but it won't get you this quite this size. It'll give you some of these curves. That's fine. You replace and minify and resubmit, and then we're done with this guy. Pretty fun shape. Really fun shape. I really enjoyed this one. And fun to approach it in a different way and with a different strategy. Ah, this one. I remember this one. I remember not liking this one bit. Speaking of inset shadows, let's see what we can do here. All right. Okay, so let's do our blank template. And we're going to do, we'll start with green. Background is green for the element. And the background of the body is this. And we're going to lean into margins again. Making that a variable var dash dash m is 20 of 60. All right, so let's put this into place. 50, 60, top margins, 70, 75, let's say. Great. And then 65 on the sides, or 67. Great. And then taller. I guess we could do, we're gonna need border radius. So let's, we need to be taller, and we need to do the yellow. What does that look like? I think that, yeah, I've been dying to do a, all right, so no, the answer is no, I'm not gonna do it that way. All right, so I was thinking that I could do an inset. Well, I'll show you what I was gonna do. Let's go a little taller, 40, 50, there it is. So that's our green. So I was thinking about a border, box box shadow inset 0 minus 20 pixels yellow. And that kind of works. That's doing its job. But watch what happens. Pretty sure I know what's going to happen here. Border radius 10 pixels. That's what I thought was going to happen. So when you do an inset box shadow, it's going to respect the outlines of the box. So that's no good. Can't do the box shadow. And that's not as good as linear gradient. From this color, it's called 80%, to the yellow. With the color stop, which is just fine. All right, next. Kind of want to do one other element and then do just a big pile of box shadows. I think that's going to be our best approach, or the approach that I want to take. B plus P. We got margin and height, so if I do M, or no, that means background has to be yeah, so this is two, yeah, I can't use the same background, so var dash dash B, or this linear gradient. The next one is going to be yellow, background B, and I give it a height of 50, and the border radius is going to be 0, 0, 50, 5, 10 pixels, and I'm not seeing anything. Why not? Do you not? Oh, because the margins are just wrong. They're way wrong. M0. Okay, so I don't see it at all. That's bad. I have some syntax that's bad somewhere. Where? There it is. Okay. So the easiest technique and the shortest code will narrow this down. 250, 180, and then more negative 2, so the height, so we need more margin. 1, 2, there it is. That height is currently 10. Oh, because I'm not respecting it as a variable. Var dash dash H or 150. And now we're way off the charts. Let's make it minus 20. And that height is too short. So I'm going to move this up more. 2, 3, 2, 25. And that's perfect. The problem is when we do a box shadow, it's going to be identical to that. So I think we need to do it a little shorter. How about 60? We want it to match these others. So let's go ahead and do that first box shadow. Box shadow 0, 20 pixels, 0. How about 30? And then let's make the color, the current color, so the shadow will obey the current color. Great. So that proves that that will work. And then how about 60? And we can just do that all day long. 90. And then I guess we need all these things again, but negative. So minus, minus, minus. And then just one more underneath it, which is 0, 20 pixels. And that's it. Let's submit that. Let's see. I think the first time I did this, I did lots of crazy gradients, and I did lots of display flex, and getting the spacing was really difficult, and this is a lot simpler, a lot more straightforward. So border radius here, let's make that a variable, var r, or 10 pixels. Yeah, and then this is dash dash r. Color, oh wait, whoops, there it is. And setting the box shadow and the color are completely separate and completely different from the rest of this, so we can't do that. Is there a way to optimize that color? No, I don't think so. Yeah, that's not going to work. I guess in theory we could do some weird units on this linear gradient, or have it come in at an odd angle or something, but that's not going to work. Okay, not going to do the thing. All right, so that's great. Let's minify, replace, and we're all done. Let's finalize. All right, that's great. Thanks for watching. Thanks for following along. Appreciate that. Very enjoyable set of very interesting, very physical looking shapes, right? From the 19th, 20th, and 21st of January 2024, a full year ago. Almost catching up. I believe I started doing these videos in October, and so I've got still most of last year's worth, but it's very enjoyable. Make stuff with CSS, make stuff with HTML. Web pages are awesome. Make a web page. Have a great day.